Okay, what up, ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully, one of your favorite official content creators for the First Descendant. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you register me as your creator. Link is in the video description. Let's go through the patch notes for update 1.3.6. The first thing that is going to be happening, all right, is that swords, or rather melee weapons, are getting added to the game. These will have their own mods that you will have to farm in the medium-sized Void Vessel, Axion Plains, and all that. We'll go through that a bit later. First and foremost, there are two types of melee weapons. The first is called Shadow. Shadow is the balanced melee weapon. It uses impact rounds. The unique ability is Shadow Slash, where you dash and slash to your enemies. Deus Ex Manus is the power melee weapon using high-powered rounds. The unique ability is called Liberation. On a successful normal attack, you will consume MP to deal additional damage, so it does cost you MP. And on a successful normal attack, you will grant yourself Liberation and Resistance. Resistance will grant you some damage reduction, so you can stay swinging and build up your Liberation. Once you have built up Liberation, you press the special attack, which is your aim down sights. So for me, it's right click, and then you will slam the weapon down and absolutely smash everything. All right. Damage of your special attack will increase as the number of Liberation stacks increases. Okay, so take note of that. There will be a sword pass that is being introduced into the game. Let me actually just refresh this and make sure that the patch notes... Oh, I knew it would be updated. I knew it would be updated. Okay. Okay, there we go. So coming back to the sword pass. The sword pass is a special battle pass, all right? If you complete missions and get sword pass XP, you'll be able to go through this. You have to buy it with Caliber. There is some stuff that you can earn for free, but you have to basically buy it with Caliber, okay? All missions of the Sword Pass will be announced at the same time, and there are missions in the Sword Pass that will require melee weapons to clear. The Sword Pass is special and consists of one-time missions and progressive missions, so do take note of that, okay? Let's see. The Transcendent skins for the melee weapons are acquired from the Sword Pass rewards. All right. New content has been introduced into the game called the medium-sized Void Vessel. All right, in order to unlock the medium-sized Void Vessel for normal difficulty, you simply have to be Mastery Rank 13, clear the current Void Vessel that is in the game on hard difficulty, and you'll unlock the medium-sized Facility Zone. The medium-sized Facility Zone's hard difficulty is unlocked when you reach Mastery Rank 15, and you clear the medium-sized facility on normal. All of you guys should be at least Mastery Rank 20, all right, if you've been following my guides, so don't even worry about this. Now, there's a new trap called a Surveillance Camera, which will spawn a formidable monster. It's probably going to be nothing to Keelan anyway, so don't sweat about it too much. I'll be running this with Keelan later, so look forward to it. There are some new completion rewards. There's Trigger Module Loot A, which contains some new trigger modules, all right? It's only obtainable through the medium-sized facility. This will give you the Wave Eruption, Rhythmic Step, and Supply Fortress trigger modules. I did go through them on the live stream, and they are basically for Ajax, Luna, and for emission-type characters, but we'll see. All right, Mutant Cell Box B is special as well. There are 9 new mutant cells that you can obtain only from this particular box, so take note of that. There is Veil Analyzer. All right, for melee weapons, impact rounds, high-powered rounds. There's also different decryption keys. So if you've been saving up keys from the previous Void Vessel, ha! I told you guys not to do that, but ha! All right. As I mentioned, there's going to be new decryption keys. They're not going to let you use the same decryption keys you already have. So the new decryption keys are called Decryption Keys 2. You get 6 keys per run of the new Void Vessel. And these particular keys will be needed to open up some storage boxes. Let's go through the types of boxes that need to be opened. All right. Collectible coins will be given every time you clear this. You'll get 40 collectible coins on hard mode, and support coins are apparently given for this as well. It says hard mode 12, so basically you might not need to even help other players to get support coins anymore, which is pretty crazy, but also pretty awesome. You will get materials to craft a crystallization catalyst from completing the mission, so that's good. In terms of container rewards, the various containers have different rewards, but here's what's happening. For the data vaults, okay, that's the one at the end, it will consume 1 decryption key. All right, that's where you get the blueprints for your Shadow, Deus Ex Manus, all that kind of stuff. That's all in hard mode. The normal mode of the Void Vessel has the Shadow blueprint. the Hagios Sheepdog Blueprint, and the Vespers Hunting Dog Blueprint. The Broken Materials Storage Box will give some of the basic weapons materials for crafting a melee weapon. This is guaranteed. And a Neuromorphic Chip, which is acquired by chance. The Special Materials Storage Box is a rare basic material for crafting the Shadow. You are also guaranteed to get ultrafine particle alloys. All right. The Genetic Information Storage Box 2 will contain a rare basic material for fellow supplements and rare basic materials required to craft crystallization catalyst, which is acquired by chance. So if you need to get crystallization catalyst, please open up the Genetic Information Storage Boxes. All right. So take note of that. For the experimental material storage boxes, these also have, these also have rare basic materials for crafting the crystallization catalyst, but only on normal mode. On the hard mode, they drop the rare basic materials for Deus Ex Manus and photon quantum crystals, which are guaranteed. So for the experimental material storage box, you only want to open them on normal mode if you are seeking crystallization catalyst materials, but I would probably recommend just going hard mode and opening up the genetic information storage boxes as you go along. Either way, you're still going to have to gather up plenty of keys. So we'll be running this back to back to back to back to back all night. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. The new Manus external component set is acquired by defeating the commander and the void vessel. So take note of that. Hard difficulty gives you 2 auxiliary powers, 2 sensors, 2 memories, and 2 processors. So get your god rolls ASAP. Just to note, I'm probably going to use a 2-set Shell Crusher, 2-set Manus, because the 4-set of Manus doesn't really interest me, but I mean, you can take a look at it if you want. Okay, the new Lava Citadel Void Abyss battle is coming in. All right, this will replace the Stormhanger. So you can now say bye-bye Stormhanger and say hello Lava Citadel. So look forward to that. All right, please use chill as the element. And if you want to read all about it, you can in the patch notes. But there honestly isn't that much information here. Okay. Simple stuff, basic stuff, which you can get in the game. He's fire attribute, so please use chill attacks. So Ultimate Luna, please bring Piercing Light with chill. It absorbs the energy of the Void Abyss through the battlefield's Void Pillar and uses that energy to attack. During Void Reflux mode, the Stormhanger, this should actually state Lava Citadel, uses wide AoE skills and ring skills. Challenge Lava Citadel's battle area is unstable, so as you progress into the battle, its size gradually shrinks. This is referring to the size of the arena, so it will gradually shrink. And avoid challenge Lava Citadel's surging heat effect to lead the battle into your favor. Take advantage of Lava Citadel's vulnerability by actively utilizing chill attacks. Okay? Let's see. The rest of the stuff is not that important. New skins, of course, available at ETA 0 and all that, so look forward to that. Change in the opening sites of Amorphous materials. A lot of you guys have been waiting for this. All Amorphous materials can now be opened through the Shaping Device NPC located in Albion. The Shaping Device is located near NPC Ane in Albion, so look forward to that. If any of you are confused, don't worry, I'll be there and I'll find it for you. Reconstructed devices generated when clearing intercept battles and void fusion reactors are removed and will no longer be generated. With the removal of reconstructed devices, conditions and routes for some subquests that require using reconstructed devices have been changed. You can proceed to shape or shape continuously at the shaping device, but basically you can choose to shape one Amorphous or throw all your Amorphous in and shape them all. Okay? So that is your choice. Now, in terms of modules, the 3 new trigger modules that have been added are Supply Fortress, Wave Eruption, and Rhythmic Step. Supply Fortress, basically, what it does is that when you use a barrier type skill, so only Ajax, realistically, you will recover rounds of your current firearm based on the shield HP consumed, and it deals additional damage on a successful attack. Kyle also, I think, has something like this, but we'll have to see which characters can actually benefit. Wave Eruption. When you use an emission type skill, it'll grant you Wave Eruption, and this deals additional damage proportional to the number of stacks to the target hit by the skill. So it gives you stacks on use, I guess. I don't know how long the stacks will last, but I'll look forward to it once I actually get the trigger module. Rhythmic Step. This one is for Luna. When using a rhythm type skill, it grants you Rhythmic Step, which increases your max shield and movement speed every time you successfully match the rhythm timing. So this is going to be very interesting as well, because I want to see how well Ultimate Luna will do farming wise with Rhythmic Step versus currently increasing her power. Okay, they've added module classes Balanced Melee Weapon, which uses impact rounds, and Power Melee Weapons, which use high power rounds. Melee weapon modules can be obtained through medium-sized facility zone, Axion Plains missions, Axion Plains operational areas, Wall Crasher, combining modules. So you still have to do Wall Crasher, you still have to do Axion Plains, you still have to hit the medium-sized facility zone, so make sure you guys do that. And of course, combine modules as well, because you're going to have to get a whole bunch of modules. Now, there's a whole section here. You can read all about it if you want. I highly encourage you to do that, because there's no point in me going through each of these step by step by step when they're basically the same stuff that you already have on your firearm, just slightly different. If you guys are confused about builds, don't worry, because I'll be doing the builds at a later time. So if you haven't read this, please go and read this entire section on modules. I really, really encourage you to do that. If you don't want to read it, or you just going to wait until RealAsianRobot comes up with a build, then you are more than welcome to do that. But just be aware that that might take some time, because I'm going to have to experiment with them as well. Catch the streams if you don't want to miss that. But yeah, that'll be how you can learn about all this. One simple bit of information, though: get the Veil Analyzer ASAP, because I believe firmly that this is going to be a great way of empowering your weapon. Okay. Descendant rebalance and improvements. Here's what's been changed. Kyle now has more stacks of his dash. The maximum dash distance has been increased to 20 meters if you hold the button. They've increased the accumulated stacks up to 5. The dashing speed is faster on collision with the target. Stop and damage has been changed to target piercing and damage. So I think you can pierce the target with your dash, therefore becoming even more aggressive. The damage range is up. So I'm assuming it deals damage in a larger AoE. The damage has been more than doubled. It's actually about 2.5 times of what it was before. And there's additional piercing damage as well. Magnetic Bulwark has now been changed to... I don't understand what it means by toggle standard, toggle neutralization. But suffice to say, the shield cost of this has been reduced. They've added a barrier effect, whereby inflicting stun and damage to enemies that run into the barrier, all right, will cause them to take 1,635.8% damage. You can move the barrier. So, I don't know what this means, but move barrier. I think it means that you can, aim left and right while moving the barrier, because you can move your character already. And the barrier monster hit counts 100, so I think that means that you can hit up to 100 monsters with this thing, which could be cool. Magnetism Spurt is another one that received a very good change. The cooldown has been halved, which is really, really awesome. The magnetic force cost reduction is now only 3%. The damage reduction is up to 30%, and you will gain an increased movement speed of 50% while it's active. Damage has been upped as well by a small factor, but it's still pretty good. Superconductivity thrusters, when used in midair, instantly go down. All right. The flight speed is up. The additional effects that occur when there's a party member is that you will actually have a bonus skill attack on Colossus multiplied by the number of party members. So there's a max stacks of 3 of this. So using Kyle with party members is apparently good. Now, the existing skill of Collision Instinct module has been removed, and its name and skill were changed to Superconductive Bombing Mark II. Superconductivity thrusters has now been changed to Superconductive Bombing Mark II. You will soar up into the air and fire superconductive bombing at the spot. The cooldown is 140 seconds, duration 10 seconds, damage reduction is 30%. Skill ends when magnetic force is fully consumed. Minimum magnetic force condition and magnetic force cost per bomb, minus 540. And bomb damage is 4,833.5% per bomb. Adjusted some skill performances of the self-directed eruption. These are the same changes that happened before, so that's fine. Diamagnetic Bulwark has also seen a change. It will do more damage, I think, to the monsters that are hit by this. And it will block enemies' range attacks, which I don't believe... No, your base one does block. I mean, it absorbs range attacks, right? So this one will block enemy range attacks, move barrier, damage is up. And superconductive bombing has also seen a change. So there's 2 types of superconductive bombing. There's a Mark II version, which I think you will fire your bombing at a spot The original superconductive bombing is one where you fly around and drop bombs below you. This one has seen a major increase in damage. It is about a close to tripling of the damage of the bomb itself as well as the explosion damage. So that is a lot. So Bomber Kyle, like John was talking about earlier in the stream, might actually be pretty damn sweet. Now, Ajax has also received plenty of changes. Ajax will actually see his explosive attack increase. And previously, he didn't get a firearm fire rate increase, but now he does, which is, again, very, very interesting to see. Okay. Orbit Barrier. His barriers have seen a MP cost reduction, an increase to the amount of damage reflection. His Void Walk, however, has seen a duration increase for the shield increase, as well as you will now get 30% extra movement speed. Expulsion saw a straight up damage increase. Hypercube, MP cost reduction. Firearm attack will now increase by 25%. Explosive attack by 25%. You'll also be getting critical hit rate for your firearm as well as critical hit damage. So I guess they're trying to make Barrier Ajax more of a firearm dealer. Could be. Void Charge, proportional to defense. Now you get, basically you get more damage for the defense that you have, which I suppose is awesome. They've adjusted some skill performances of the Matrix Recomputation module. So Matrix Recomputation will now reduce your skill costs and also increase your skill critical hit rate by plus 20%, potentially turning Ajax into a bit of a crit man, which might be entirely possible. I guess we'll have to see. They've adjusted some skill performances of the Life Barrier module, increased the reflection damage rate from 200% to 300%, enhanced max reflection damage is up to 500%. So this is pretty interesting. They have changed the skill name from Life Barrier to Hypercube. The MP cost is reduced. All the same stuff that you got before is still here. And okay, that's about it. They've adjusted the skill performances of the Void Explosion module. All right. I just realized that this is a bit small. Sorry about that. Okay. They've adjusted the skill performance of the Void Explosion module. The damage has gone up. The enhanced damage has gone up. Orbit Barrier skill cost down. Void Walk, all the same changes from before. For Void Barrier, you get enhanced damage reflection and reduced MP cost. Okay, pretty cool. Now, carrying on, Esiemo. Esiemo has seen a buff to the explosive damage of Adventitious Habit. Time Bomb has a better projectile movement speed as well as almost double damage. Blast can now be used while sprinting. All right. And skill power has increased by 5 times instead of the previous 4. Guided Landmine can now be used while sprinting. It has been adjusted to allow for faster transitions to other actions after use. But the max stacks is now 2, and the stack cooldown has increased by a bit. So do take note of that. Explosion damage is practically double, though. But the cooldown is a bit worrying. However, for those of you that are playing with a lot of cooldown reduction, this should not matter because the massive damage increase is very useful. RK Explosion made adjustments to ease the change of direction mid-movement. Okay. The knockback damage has seen a drastic increase, and the cooldown has seen a decrease to 70 seconds. Cluster Bomb has also seen some changes, but, mainly to the Time Bomb. Time Bomb will see only 3 stacks instead of the usual 5. Okay. But the stack cooldown is only 9 seconds when you use Cluster Bomb. Blast will have additional damage for the Cluster Bombs. Explosive Propaganda has also seen some change. You can now use it while sprinting. They've adjusted some skill performances of the Creative Explosion module, adjusted so that Blast can now be used while in sprint, and the RK Explosion is drastically increased. So for those that like the Creative Explosion, there you go. You can now explode even more. Okay, Bunny saw a massive amount of changes this time, so I would highly recommend paying attention to this if you are a Bunny fan. Thrill Bomb now can target more targets, and the damage is practically doubled. All right, the skill power that you get is also doubled, but sorry, not doubled, has also drastically increased by about 2%, but although it's only 2%, it actually helps a lot in the long run. The main problem, though, is that the electricity cost of Thrill Bomb is now up by 20%, so take note of that. You no longer collide with enemies when using speed of light. Your lightning emission has seen the same increase in skill power per 10% of electricity retained, and the amount of damage you do has seen a minor increase. Maximum power has seen the electricity cost drop drastically, and the amplification of damage at level 3 has been increased further, so that's really, really good. Electric Condense also saw a massive buff to its explosion, but I still think the beam, the Kamehameha, is still better. Superconductor, not too worried on that. It's basically the same changes as before, just that remember Superconductor weakens enemies. Okay, Bionic Fuel, same changes to speed of light. The electricity obtained is increased. The HP cost of Bionic Fuel has been decreased. And if you will cease HP consumption when you are below 15% of maximum hit points and below 35% of maximum hit points. So you will just stop consuming hit points at 35% of your maximum hit points. Cool. Electric Charge has seen a slight buff to the damage of the jump, so do take note of that. Thrill Bomb has seen the electricity cost for high voltage. Okay, same kind of thing. Thrill Bomb's electricity cost increase, damage increase, and lightning emission damage increase, and the skill power increase for electricity also increase. Okay. Electric Transition causes you to no longer collide with enemies while on speed of light, but that's a base change for Bunny, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Okay, Luna. They have adjusted the firearm max damage of explosive inspiration effect from Luna's Battlefield Artist module. The max damage multiplier has gone from 150% to 210%. Added Charm, a new skill type to Remix skill, which can be used upon equipping Ultimate Luna's Battlefield Artist module. They've added Rhythm, a new skill type to Luna's skills listed below. Okay. New mana set. Melee weapon attack, 6%. For 2 set effect. For 4 set effect, you will gain 1 stack of Knight's Willpower per second. 2 stacks on attacking a target using normal attacks with a melee weapon. Knight's Willpower is converted to Knight's Strike with 10 stacks. Knight's Strike increases the melee attack range modifier of the next melee weapon normal attack by 10% additive and deals additional damage equal to 22.7% of melee weapon attack. So I don't know how useful this is, but basically it just ramps up your melee weapon as you strike your enemies. So you can either use this for a big opening strike by stacking it up per second, or you can just use it as a damage increaser. But honestly, I would probably choose the attack rate anyway, which would make a lot more sense to me. So I'm probably still going to go 2 Manus, 2 Shell Crusher, but we'll see. Okay. There are 9 new Mutant Cells, 5 of which are useless. The non-attribute impairment reduces the amount of skill power, reduces the amount of elemental damage that an opponent does based on the debuffs you inflict. This will have some use on bossing if you are aiming for survival during bossing rather than damage. The other thing is that down here, there is something called damage conversion. This will consume some hit points, but I'm pretty sure it's based on the amount of hit point damage you've taken. And this will actually boost up the damage you deal of a specific arcade type. So singular, dimension, tech, fusion. I have a feeling it'll be very useful for certain glass cannon builds, but we'll have to see how useful that turns out. All right, but that's my thought process. That's what I'm thinking. All right, in terms of all this. Okay. In photo mode, you can now get the Descendants to look at the camera, which is pretty awesome. Okay, they added melee weapon research. Leaderboard has been reset for those of you going for medals. Okay, Executioner has been added to the Axion Plains as one of the Colossi that will turn up. Arcade tuning. Okay, this arcade tuning change just means that those nodes previously that dealt only with firearms now increase all types of attacks, including melee weapon attacks, all that kind of stuff. So for those of you going for weapon-based builds, you will still roughly be using the same nodes. Yeah? Okay. Stats. 2 new stats have been added. Bonus weapon attack and bonus skill attack versus Legion of Breach. These are on your weapon options, I believe. And the other one is from your reactors. So are these important? No. Okay. Now, let's move on to the events. Okay, here are the events for October. Please take note. The first event is a simple login event. There is no skin in here as far as I know, but just log in and get free stuff, right? The second event is the exploring the new sector. I believe this is where you have to explore the new medium-sized facility zone in the transformed void vessel and face off against the Void Abyss Colossus Lava Citadel. All right. Basically, just play for 60 minutes and you'll get stuff. Weekly missions are very simple. You will receive 1 Shadow Research Blueprint box and 1 Deus Ex Manus Research Blueprint box. Okay. For completing Void Vessel 10, for completing the medium-sized Void Vessel 10 times. Now, for the other one, if you complete Lava Citadel 3 times, you receive 3 weapon augmentation core boxes as well as 50 core amplifiers. There's also something called General Store of Dreams. If you say hello to the NPC Bibion, you will get a crystallization catalyst and 100 dream tokens. This is the new NPC in the game that will be in charge of this particular event. Dream tokens are obtained by doing daily missions and weekly missions, and you can spend the dream tokens to get like emotes, stuff like that. So they do want you playing daily, and that's probably what I'll do. I'm probably going to pace myself and just play daily as I go along. So you'll probably see night streams of TFD, day streams of other stuff, and that's going to be what happens. Okay, that's it for the events. Let's go back to the main page. If you're confused about any of the events, leave a comment and I'll try my best to answer you. Okay, let's see. New stuff added to the shop. You can check it all out later. They've modified some. Now, in terms of content improvements, they've modified some of the Axian missions. The monsters inside the assault ships have gone from 4 to 6 to 8 to 10. So clearing the assault ships is now very viable for Axian Plains missions. The sealed residential district has now been changed to simply 4 minutes. So if that becomes the operational zone, it might actually be quite viable for you to go there and do that. It's a fun mission, so I'm glad they made this change. Missions cannot be ceased by delivering the Colossus organic samples. They've increased the XP gain and loot chance for defeating common monsters in sealed residential district by 2.6 times. Okay. They've increased the monster spawn speed in AX Refinery, Liquefied AX Vault, Emergency Deployment Zone. The AX Power Converter Station now has only 2 defense objectives and only 4 waves. They've reduced the number of maximum activated defensive objects by 2. They've modified the timing of playing the Void Intercept Battles boss music. Collectible coins have been added as a completion reward to Void Erosion Purge, normal difficulty. And they've also added a collectible coin reward for playing the Special Operation Hard mode, so take note of that. You now have a total module inventory capacity of 2,500, so yay, more modules. And they've changed the collectibles that have been added, so you can obtain new collectibles, so open up those boxes. All right, some of the collectibles have been removed. If you guys are really interested, you can read this list yourself in the patch notes. I'm not going to go through that because it's a waste of time. Okay. You will be able to bulk purchase stuff from the ETA 0 shop, so no longer having to purchase and spam the spacebar or purchase one at a time, which is horrendously annoying. So thankfully, they've added that. If you have multiple boxes in your inventory that you want to utilize, you can utilize them now. You can now press acquire all items to just give you everything in your mailbox rather than opening up each mailbox each one at a time. Let's see. Monster and Colossus sounds can now be adjusted individually in the sound effect options. So if you find them too loud, please take note that when you log into the game, you may see that, hey, why the hell are these new sound options there? All right. And other than this, okay, there's a filter called attached items in the inventory sorting filter. It will sort your attached items to the top, and attached items are displayed by icon. So this will be really helpful for inventory management. Please use this filter immediately. Align all filters in the detail filter in the inventory. Okay. Only equipment whose entire options match the set options will be filtered and displayed. New search web keywords for the options, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is all not important. Anything else that's important here? Shop, party, ignore. Okay, last important thing. Reactor optimization conditions have been removed. Now, regardless of what weapon you wield or equip on your character, you will always have maximum reactor power, so you no longer need to worry about that. Due to the removal of reactor optimization conditions, reactor transplantation is no longer available. As a token of appreciation for the effort put into reactor transplantation, all descendants will be granted 3 crystallization catalysts as soon as you log into the game. Okay? They've changed some awards and stuff in relation to all this. You can read about it if you want. I went through it on my stream, but I don't think it's important to talk about here. You can now summon up to 50 Vulgus in the laboratory, and you can now summon the Legion of the Breach in the laboratory, but again, this is really kind of pointless unless you're desperately testing certain damage amounts. The summon level is fixed at 190 for Legion of Breach, I believe. Okay. The rest are just bug fixes, which I don't think anything here is drastically important. But if anything here is drastically important, feel free to tell me in the comments, but that is it. All right, that brings us to the end of the patch notes. I really didn't want to go too long because honestly, there's a lot in there, but listen. If there's anything that stands out to you, let me know what you're most excited about in the comments of this video. Let me know what you're not excited about in the comments of this video. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope you guys have had a great time. I hope you guys will continue to enjoy TFD with me. Don't forget to register me as your creator. And remember, it's October, so those of you that super chat, show love and all that, all right, you guys will be the ones who are named at the end of these videos, all right? Thank you very much, and let's rock on.